Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jayam Vishnupada Paramahamsa. Parivrajacharya Ashtotarashata Shri Srimad, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Founder Acharya of ISKCON, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jayam Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Ashtotarashata Shri Srimad, His Divine Grace, Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Jayo Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gora Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath Shyama Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Shri Mathur Dham Ki Jai. Shri Navadvip Dham Ki Jai. Shri Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai. Ganga Mai Ki Jai. Jamuna Mai Ki Jai. Tulasi Devi Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Sankirtan Yagya Ki Jai. Brihad Mridanga Ki Jai. Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Jai Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga, Jai Srila Prabhupada. Gaura Premanandi, Hari Hari Bol. So first and foremost, I would like to introduce myself as the host of today's Srimad Bhagavatam class by His Holiness Jayādvaita Swami Maharaj. And my name is Vijaya Krishna Das. And the time now is in New Jersey, United States of America, is, if I'm not wrong, 7 p.m. And this class, today is Wednesday, the day is 13th of February 2025, and this class, Srimad Bhagavatam class, usually happens every Wednesday, apart from happening also on Mondays and Fridays. And we have on Thursdays Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita class, same spot and same time. So
I think we can just forge ahead. What verse are we on, Prabhuji?
The verse for today, Maharaj, is Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 10, Text 10.
Okay. That's where my bookmark was. Good.
Would you like to read, Maharaj?
Okay, if you're asking me.
Please.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Epi chamum amrishyanta padasparsham ibolagaha sharair avidyan yugapad vigunam prachikir shavaha. Just like serpents who cannot tolerate being trampled upon by anyone's feet, the yakshas, being intolerant of the wonderful prowess of Dhruva Maharaj, threw twice as many arrows, 6 from each of their soldiers, and thus they very valiantly exhibited their prowess. Om Jnana-timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurn Miditam Vena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Prabhu Nitya Shri Chaitanya, oh my goodness, Manobhistam Stapitam Jaina Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Datati Shapadantikam Pandehang Shri Guru Shri Jatapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raganatan Vitam Stam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savatutam Parvijana Setam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lolita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hori Priye Panchakul Patirubhyascha Kripa Sindho Bhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vashadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Well, I don't have anything to add here. Does anyone else? Okay. Tata Paridka Nistrimshai Prasashula Parashvatai Shakrishtibhir Pushunti Pish Chitra Vrajai Sharayrapi Abhyavarshan Prakupitaha Sarartam Sahasaratim Ichchantastat Pratikartum Ayutanam Trayodasha. The Yaksha soldiers were 130,000 strong, all greatly angry, and all desiring to defeat the wonderful activities of Dhruva Maharaj. With full strength, they showered upon Maharaj Dhruva, along with his chariot and charioteer, various types of feathered arrows, paridkas, iron bludgeons, nistringshas, swords, prashashulas, tridents, padashvatas, lances, shoktis, pikes, irshtis, spears, and bushundi weapons. Autanapadi satada shastra varshena purina naeva drishyatach chanda asarena yata girihi. Dhruva Maharaj was completely covered by an incessant shower of weapons, just as a mountain is covered by incessant rainfall. Purport: Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur points out in this connection that although Dhruva Maharaj was covered by the incessant arrows of the enemy, this does not mean that he succumbed in the battle. The example of a mountain peaks being covered by incessant rain is just suitable. For when a mountain is covered by incessant rain, all dirty things are washed from the body of the mountain. Similarly, the incessant shower of arrows from the enemy gave Dhruva Maharaj new vigor to defeat them. In other words, whatever incompetency he might have had was washed away. Well, I don't think I have anything to add here either. This is the meaning of self-evident with the purport.
Maharaj, I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, at the end of the purport you just read, and the quote goes as follows, quote, similarly, the incessant shower of arrows from the enemy gave Dhruva Maharaj new vigor to defeat them. In other words, whatever incompetency he might have had was washed away, close quote. So based on this quote, my question is it possible, it would be fair to transport the content of this quote to how insulted a book distributor may get. I am a book distributor, and often people tell me get a job, and I have no time, and the other sort of insult is get a job. So my exact question is it that in a similar way these insults and, if I may say it, mistreatment by the people we approach, the book distributors approach for the selling of the books, are there to give new vigor for them to go on preaching and distributing books?
Well, I want to say it's there for that purpose. It's also there because those particular conditioned souls are resistant to receiving those books. But yes, the insults or problems that adversities devotees face are a form of tapasya, and by tapasya one becomes purified. Yagyadana tapa karma yagyadana tapaschaiva pavanani manishina. Even the learned are purified by tapasya. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Maharaj. Thank you very much. Maharaj, would you like to go on reading?
No.
Okay. Yes, Maharaj. Thank you very much. So I'm going to read text 14, if I may. And before I do it, I just want to know from Ross Prabhu if he's available to deal with the post in the chat. Ross Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu.
Thank you very much, you're most kind. Text 14. Ahakara tadaiva sit siddhanam divi pashyatam Hato Yam Manava Suryo Magna Punya Janarnave. Translation. All the Siddhas from the higher planetary systems were observing the fight from the sky. And when they saw that Dhruva Maharaj had been covered by the incessant arrows of the enemy, they roared tumultuously. Quote, "The grandson of Manu, Dhruva, is now lost." Close quote. They cried that Dhruva Maharaj was just like the sun, and that now he had set within the ocean of the Yakshas. Purport. In this verse, the word Manava is very significant. Generally, this word is used to mean human being. Dhruva Maharaj is also described here as Manava. Not only is Dhruva Maharaj a descendant of Manu, but all human society descends from Manu. According to Vedic civilization, Manu is the lawgiver. Even today, Hindus in India follow the laws given by Manu. Everyone, therefore, in human society is a Manava, or descendant from Manu. But Dhruva Maharaj is a distinguished Manava because he is a great devotee. The denizens of the planet Siddhaloka, where the residents can fly in the sky without airplanes, were anxious over Dhruva Maharaj's welfare in the battlefield. Srila Rupa Goswami says, therefore, that not only is a devotee well protected by the Supreme Lord, but all the demigods and even ordinary men are anxious for his security and safety. The comparison given here, that Dhruva Maharaj appeared to merge in the ocean of the Yakshas, is also significant. When the sun sets on the horizon, it appears that the sun drowns in the ocean, but factually, the sun has no difficulty. Similarly, although Dhruva appeared to drown in the ocean of the Yakshas, he had no difficulty. As the sun rises again in due course at the end of night, so Dhruva Maharaj, although he might have been in difficulty, because after all it was a fight, and in any fighting activities there are reverses, that did not mean that he was defeated. Om Gyana Timrandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Shakshur Umilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Svayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Sva Padantikam Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Sarasvati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashtya Charine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gora Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. I don't think I have any contribution to offer to the Sangha, but if Maharaj, do you have any contribution based on text 14?
Yes.
Please.
I'm in correspondence with one godbrother undergoing prolonged and very difficult troubles. And, the question comes up like, what is Krishna doing, or why is Krishna doing this? And one answer is given here that the troubles that beset a devotee are only apparent. As the sun seems to drown in the ocean, a devotee may seem to drown in difficulties, but that's only an appearance. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj, thank you very much. Mother Saraswati Devidasi, your hand is raised.
Pranams Parampuja Maharaj. This line where it talks about how Srila Rupa Goswami says that not only is a devotee well protected by the Supreme Lord, but everyone else is very anxious for their security and safety. But we know that the definition of protection can take many different forms. It's not that on a battlefield a devotee will always emerge victorious in the sense that his physical body, material body, will be preserved, because we know that in cases of even like Vratasura, okay, externally he appeared as a demon, but we know he was a very advanced devotee, and he was defeated by Indra and lost his life. And also Bhima's son, I'm just thinking randomly, and even Bhima's son Gatorkach, he gladly gave up his life. He didn't emerge, with safety in the sense that his material body was preserved. So, Maharaj, I'm just thinking, it's protection from the Lord doesn't always equate to being saved on a battlefield, like how the Pandavas or how Prahlad was saved. I wonder if you had something that you could say in regards to this. Hare Krishna.
It's fairly true. And Abhimanyu could be added to the list. The Jatayu could be added to the list. There's so many. So the physical body is, what is that? The nasato vijite bhavo and the bhavo vijite sata, the dehi nityam avajyo yam, and so on. The body is temporary. So what do we expect? No, my body will live forever. That's not going to happen. And it wouldn't be fun if it did. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj. Thank you very much. Maharaj, I forgot to ask, do you have any devotee for the reading with you?
Praveen Krishna Prabhu has a question. We didn't get to.
Yes, Ras Prabhu, please.
Can the difficulties in a devotee's life be a result of his past offenses / conditionings, or are the problems just apparent problems?
Well, yes, they can be a result of past offenses, past conditionings, past activities, past karma. The body is the result of past karma, and so the things that happen to the body can be viewed as past karma. And those are just apparent problems. Those are just apparent problems, however serious. Offenses, that's, in one sense, that's also an apparent problem, but in the sense that it's not a represented, it doesn't represent one's eternal situation, but offenses come to, what should we say, they enter into the spiritual, our spiritual situation. So even though that we might also say, well, that's apparent, but it's related to one's progress in Krishna consciousness, and it retards one's progress in Krishna consciousness. So it, from one point of view, one could say it extends the apparent difficulties of its serious business. Or from another Well, yes, how do we look at that? It's a spiritual offense, an offense to a spiritual person. So that enters into the realm of one's relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the Lord's personal protection of his devotees. So that's more of a far more serious matter. Karma, fine, throw it at us and we'll deal with it. But offenses to devotees are more serious, or offenses to the Lord are more serious. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Maharaj. Do you have devotees with you who would like to read?
All right. Yes, Steele will take on the service.
Nadatsuya daneshu jaya kasishvato mride udatistadраtastasya niharad iva bhaskaraha. The Yakshas, being temporarily victorious, exclaimed that they had conquered Dhruva Maharaj. But in the meantime, Dhruva's chariot suddenly appeared, just as the sun suddenly appears from within foggy mist. Purport. Here, Dhruva Maharaj is compared to the sun, and the great assembly of the Yakshas to foggy mist. Fog is insignificant in comparison with the sun. Although the sun is sometimes seen to be covered by fog, in fact the sun cannot be covered by anything. Our eyes may be covered by a cloud, but the sun is never covered. By this comparison to the sun, the greatness of Dhruva Maharaj in all circumstances is affirmed.
Something to say? Okay, continue then.
Danur Vishvurjayam Divyam Vishattam Kedam Udvahan Astrogham Vyadamatpanair Gananikam Iva Nilaha. Dhruva Maharaj's bow and arrows twanged and hissed, causing lamentation in the hearts of his enemies. He began to shoot incessant arrows, shattering all their different weapons, just as the blasting wind scatters the assembled clouds in the sky. Tasya te chapa nirmukta bitva varmani rakshasam kayan avivishu stigma girin asanayo yatha. The sharp arrows released from the bow of Dhruva Maharaj pierced the shields and bodies of the enemy, like the thunderbolts released by the King of Heaven, which dismantle the bodies of the mountains.
Well, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has a commentary here. Maybe you could read this for us. Hold on 1 second.
Two comparisons have been given concerning the mountain. The Yakshas attacked him like rain torrents covering a mountain. He attacked them like thunderbolts attacking mountains. The arrows of the Yakshas were insignificant to Dhruva, like rain to the mountain, and served to increase his desire to counterattack. Just the rain washes the mountain of dirt and makes it appear bright. The arrows of Dhruva, however, took away the life of the Yakshas, like thunderbolts piercing mountains.
Anyone else? Anyone else to read?
Yes, now texts 18 and 19. Now I'm going to ask to the Sangha if there's a someone who would like to volunteer to read texts 18 and 19. Who Ras Prabhu, are you able to read?
Yes.
Oh, please.
Vale Sachidamananam Shirobis Charu Kundale Urabir Ema Talaber Torbir Alaya Baguvi Haram Kayura Mukuter Usnisais Cha Mahadane Astras Ta Rano Buvu Rajor Vira Manohara. Translation. The great sage Maitreya continued, "My dear Vidura, the heads of those who were cut to pieces by the arrows of Dhruva Maharaj were decorated very beautifully with earrings and turbans. The legs of their bodies were as beautiful as golden palm trees. Their arms were decorated with golden bracelets and armlets, and on their heads there were very valuable helmets bedecked with gold. All these ornaments lying on that battlefield were very attractive and could bewilder the mind of a hero." Purport. It appears that in those days, soldiers used to go to the battlefield highly decorated with golden ornaments and with helmets and turbans. When they were dead, the booty was taken by the enemy party. Their falling dead in battle with their many golden ornamental dresses was certainly a lucrative opportunity for the heroes on the battlefield.
Ras Prabhu, any comment or question?
No, Prabhu.
Thank you very much for your reading. Maharaj, any contribution from your part?
Prabhupada mentions somewhere that and in those times they had a sense of aesthetic valor even on the battlefield. I recall reading somewhere that in the American Revolution, the French, and rather the British, were they were decorated. They had their bright uniforms and so on, and but the Americans took up the sort of what would you say?
Camouflage.
Not camouflage, but the just sort of rustic dress and sniped at them and so on, and that maybe was the historical end of the valorous, bright approach. Now you've got everybody in the dress of grunts and so on. But in those days, bright helmets, gold, and wonderful decorations. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj, thank you very much. Saraswati Devidasi, again, your hand is raised, please.
Yes, I have a question. Well, they talk about how the booty can be collected, the party that conquered. And I don't think this took place in Satyuga, but we read about how, in the Roman Empire, Greek, or the Egyptians, that booty included the wives of those that were defeated and, taken as slaves and sometimes really abused and dishonored horribly. And we know, one instance that I know of is Maharani Padmavati, when she knew that her husband had been defeated. In fact, all the women in that kingdom, they all, they call it juhar, they built this big bonfire and they just, fell in there and gave themselves up because they knew that they'd be dishonored horribly and abused in so many ways by the Muslim party that conquered the kingdom. So I'm just wondering, I'm sure that in Satyuga that wouldn't have happened, that women and children would be treated abominably. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, these are features of modern warfare. Where was I reading this? Even back in the time of the, did I mention this? It appears in the history of Alexander the Great. I did mention it, so I won't mention it again. I've told this story, how he treated his enemy, his nemesis was Darius, I think. And Darius's wife was captured by Alexander's forces, his wife and daughter. And his wife was like the most beautiful woman of the time. And the daughter was equally beautiful. And Alexander issued orders that no one should touch them on pain of death, and that they should be made to feel as comfortable as if they were in their own kingdom, and no bad news should be exposed to them. And he himself didn't touch them. So such was the character of Alexander the Great. Now, we don't see such principles.
Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you very
And
much.
it's not particularly, by the way, a feature of Islam, but it's all over the place. The Russians, when the Russians came to Berlin in the Second World War, in retaliation for the siege of what was it, Stalingrad, all the men were given permission to rape the women, and these things go on. And it's not limited to the Russians either. The Americans in Vietnam were not chaste.
Yes, Maharaj. Thank you very much. And now, if I may ask, I need a volunteer for the reading of text 20. But before that, Venkatesh Prabhu has his hand raised. Please, Venkatesh Prabhu.
I just want to volunteer to read.
Sorry?
Can I volunteer to read?
You would like to read?
Yes.
Yes, text 20. Please go ahead.
Just a minute. Yes. Yes. वसिष्ठ इतरे रदजिराज रक्षोगण क्षत्रियवर्य सायकै वयो विक्रमव्यय विदुरुर्वुर् योगेन्द्र विक्रीडित युथपा इवा. The remaining Yakshas were somehow or other were not killed, had their limbs cut to pieces by the arrows of the great warrior Dhru Maharaj. Thus they began to flee, just as elephants flee when defeated by a lion. There's no purpose. Shall I read the next?
Yes, please, Venkatesh Prabhu, go ahead.
Okay. Apasyamana sa tadatayinam mahamrade kanchana mano uttama manavottama puvim didikshan api na visham tamayinam veda chikishitam jana. Dhruvaraj, the best of the human beings, observed that in that great battlefield, not one of the opposing soldiers was left standing with proper weapons. Then he desired to see the city of Alkapuri. But he thought to himself, no one knows the plans of the mystic Yakshas. Text 22. Iti bruvam sitrarata sva sarati yattha paresham Yoga Sankita Susrava Sabdam Jalade Viveritam Nabhasvato Dikshurajo Druvadrishyata. In the meantime, while Dhruva, Maharaj, doubtful of his mystic enemies, was talking with his charioteer, they heard a tremendous sound, as if the whole ocean were there. And they found that from the sky a great dust storm was coming over them from all directions. Text 23. Shadechaditam vyoma ghana nikena sarvata vispurat sadita dikshu tarashayat tadayitnuna. Within a moment, the whole sky was overcast with dense clouds, and severe thundering was heard. There was a glittering electric lightning and severe rainfall. Vrushu Rudirao Ghashrip Puyavinmutra Vedasa Dipetur Kaganadasya Kabandhari Agratodragha. My dear faultless Vidura, in that rainfall there was blood, mucus, pus, stool, urine, and marrow falling heavily before Dhruva Maharaj, and there were trunks of bodies falling down from the sky. Tatake Vishyata Girir Dipetu Sarvato Disham Gata Parigha Nitrimsha Musala Sasava Varshina. Next, a great mountain was visible in the sky, and from all directions hailstones fell, along with lances, clubs, swords, iron bludgeons, and great pieces of stone.
I'm sorry, Venkatesh Prabhu, I'm sorry interrupting you. Maybe Maharaj has any contribution related to the text you just read.
It's okay.
Okay, Maharaj. Go ahead, Venkatesh Prabhu.
Okay. This is text 26. Ahaya Sadi Nivasa Vamantognim Rusa Shivi Yavad Gajamatta Simha Vyakra Sayu Tasa. Dhruva Maharaj also saw many big serpents with angry eyes vomiting forth fire and coming to devour him, along with a group of mad elephants, lions, and tigers. Text 27. Samudra Urvi Bhima Lavvayan Sarvato Bhuvam Asasada Maharana Kalpanta Iva Bhishana. Then, as if it were the time of dissolution of the whole world, the fierce sea with foaming waves and great roaring sounds came forth before him. Text 28. Evam vidhani anekani trasyanani aman visham sasrujas tigmagataya asurya mayaya sura. The demon yakshas are by by nature very heinous, and by the demonic power of illusion, they can create many strange phenomena to frighten one who is less intelligent. ध्रुवे प्रयुक्तम् असुरैस्तं मायायम् अतिदुस्तरं विषम्य तस्य मुनय samagata. When the great sages heard that Dhruva Raja was overpowered by illusory mystic tricks of the demons, they immediately assembled to offer him auspicious encouragement. Munaya Uvacha.
I'm sorry, Venkatesh Prabhu. Before you read text 30, and text 30 does have a purport, I need to know if Maharaj has any contribution or any member of the Sangha because of the verses you just read.
Just a small thing, since the word comes up often for us. That word is pronounced heinous, H-E-I-N-O-U-S. It's a misleading sort of a spelling. Heinous. Hare Krishna.
Oh, thank you.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Venkatesh Prabhu, any member of the Sangha, would you like to comment or ask a question because of based on the verses that Venkatesh Prabhu just read? Oh, Mother Saraswati has her hand raised. Please, Mother Saraswati.
Yes, I'm just reminded when I read this verse of how Dhruv Maharaj saw many big serpents with angry eyes. It just instantly makes me think of the time when Lord Ram and Lakshman were put in a Nagpash, this special weapon that Indrajit, Ravana's son, used to bind them and knock them unconscious. And at that point, all the army, Lord Ramchandra's army of the monkeys, they all thought this was it, that there's no way that, they can bring them back and have them released from this Nagpash. And it took Garuda. He came to the rescue, and of course, serpents are very afraid of Garuda. He can completely defeat any serpent. So that he was the one who managed to break this weapon of Indrajit, and which was actually seemingly unbreakable. Free Lord Ramchandra and Lakshman. Just it was a wonderful pastime, that one. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Saraswati Devi Dasi Mataji, thank you very much. Venkatesh Prabhu, please go ahead.
Yeah, actually, I have a question. Maybe Maharaj can try to see. The thing is, we see in these verses that the war which is going on, Dhruva Maharaj seems to be the lone warrior, and he's fighting the whole army, and he's shooting multiple arrows at once, and these yakshas, they have some mystic powers. So it seems that the warfare at that time was on a different level of, you can say, reality. So, well, if you can shed some light on that, what kind of warfare was that, and how does it correlate to our modern warfare with guns, missiles, and aeroplanes?
I don't think I have anything more to add there.
Oh, fine. So,
Venkatesh Prabhu, just a second.
We have something in the chat.
Yes, Ross Prabhu, please.
Yep, from Praveen Krishna Prabhu. We walk up to two small ponds. One has a Viking statue, a warrior on horseback blowing a trumpet. Prabhupada, Cho queries, were the Vikings Kshatriyas? No, Prabhupada answers. Kshatriyas fought on religious principles. They were noble warriors, religious, not murderers. Then what about the modern soldiers? Do they go to the heavenly planets when they die on the battlefield? No, simply demons fighting demons for economic reasons. How can they go to heaven? they go to hell, both sides. By Burijan Prabhu.
Yes, Ross Prabhu, thank you very much. And Venkatesh Prabhu, before you continue, Saraswati Devidasi Mataji, your hand is raised again.
Yes, just to follow up on that, what was just posted. So is Srila Prabhupada implying that, well, in this case, in this particular battle and the battles where these big Rakshasis who have Mayavi powers of illusion, is Srila Prabhupada implying that if they release their arsenal, full arsenal of these weapons that they have access to, that's wrong? Because you would think in a battle, you can use your full force to attack the enemy, and if that consists of weapons that are made out of Mayavi power of illusion, then is Srila Prabhupada saying that that's wrong, that they shouldn't have used those powers on hand? Hare Krishna.
I don't see that. I don't see that he's saying that.
Thank you, Maharaj, and thank you, Saraswati Devi Dasi Mataji. Venkatesh Prabhu, we are 7 minutes to the end of the class, and Maharaj is very punctual, so I would like for you, I love your reading, and I would like for you to read text 30 with a purport, but we need to ask from Maharaj if Maharaj would like for the closing kirtan to start now or not. Maharaj, we cannot hear.
We can finish the attacks by the Yakshas, but it's not very long.
Yes, Maharaj, thank you. Venkatesh Prabhu, please go ahead.
Yeah, so this is the last verse of the chapter. So this is the closing verse. Anuttara Munaya Uvacha Anuttara Pada Bhagavam Stavasarangadanava Devakshito Ana Avantaryapi Naro Vipakshan Yandamadheyam Abhidhyaya Nishamvyachadda Lokonjasa Tarati Dushtaram Angavrityum. All the sages said, Dear Dhruva, O son of King Uttama's mother, may the Supreme Personality of Godhead, known as Sarangadhanava, who relieves the distress of his devotees, kill all your threatening enemies. The holy name of the Lord is as powerful as the Lord himself. Therefore, simply by chanting and hearing the holy name of the Lord, many men can be fully protected from the fierce death without difficulty. Thus, a devotee is saved. Purport. The great rishis approached Dhruva Maharaj at the time when his mind was very perplexed due to the magical feats exhibited by the Yakshas. A devotee is always protected by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. By his inspiration only, the sages came to encourage Dhruva Maharaj and assure him there was no danger because he was a soul fully surrendered to the Supreme Lord. By the grace of the Lord, if a devotee at the time of death can simply chant his holy name, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. Simply by chanting this Maha Mantra, he immediately surpasses the great ocean of material sky and enters the spiritual sky. He never has to come back for repetition of birth and death. Simply by chanting the holy name of the Lord, one can surpass the ocean of death. So Dhruva Maharaj was certainly able to surpass the illusory magical feats of Yakshas, which for the time being disturbed his mind. Thus end the Bhakti purports of the 4th canto, 10th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Dhruva Maharaj's Fight with the Yakshas.
Venkatesh Prabhu, any comment or question, but please a brief one because our time is we're 4 minutes to the end of the class.
Yes, I just got to share one point and then we'll hear from Maharaj. Just like how Dhruva Maharaj, when he was a boy, he wanted some guidance, so Lord sent Narada Muni to help him. So again, in this case, Lord from within the heart of the sages inspired them to come and save Dhruva Maharaj. So a devotee of the Lord is always protected. Hare Krishna. And Maharaj, we have something interesting to add here further.
Thank you.
The Dhruva Maharaj understood that what to speak of counteracting the mystic weapons of the yakshas, the holy name of the Lord can counteract birth and death, dustaram, which is practically insurmountable. So namadeyam, yat namadeyam abhidhaya nishamya, just by hearing the holy name of the Lord, one becomes freed from birth and death, mrityum dustaram. Then defeating the yakshas is easy work. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj. Thank you very much. Maharaj, we're 2 minutes to the end of the class. Do you have a devotional band with you?
Yes, we have a devotional band with us.
For the closing kirtan, please.
Kirtan.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare.
Jai Om Vishnupad Paramhamsa Pariprajak Stotra Satashi Srimad A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai, Nam Acharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai, Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shriva Shadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Sri Radha Krishna Gop Gopinath Sham Kund Radha Kundagiri Govardhan Ki Jai, Vrindavan Tham Ki Jai, Navadip Tham Ki Jai, Jagannath Puri Ki Jai, Ganga Mai Ki Jai, Jamana Mai Ki Jai, Tulsi Devi Ki Jai, Bhakti Devi Ki Jai, Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. Gaur Premanande.
Thank you, Maharaj. Allow me to say the closing words. Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, His Holiness Jayādvaita Swami Maharaj Ki Jai. Thank you very much for having us, Maharaj.
Thank you all. Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna.
Jai Hari Hari.